Welcome to our advanced chair assessment. In this episode, we're going to go through and we're going to be using a lot of our basic tools and techniques that we learned in our first series of lessons, and we're going to be then adding on to that with our advanced lesson tools and techniques. So everything that is going to be done in this episode is what you're going to have to be doing in SketchUp, and once you are complete with it, you'll have to download the .skp SketchUp save file and upload that then to Google Classroom and turn it in where I will then grade it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So first thing I want to do is grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create a square that is going to be 18 inches, comma 18 inches. Okay, remember on a rectangle tool we have two measurements. I'll hit enter. If you notice that it is a little bit smaller than what you were expecting, most likely you were just a little zoomed out. Go ahead and scroll wheel in, or just go ahead and hit the zoom tool or zoom extends tool and get that kind of situated in a better position. Okay, at this point in time we are then going to use our push pull tool. There we go. And I'm just going to push up a particular amount. There's no measurement on this push pull. Okay, so this is going to end up being our base of our advanced chair. All right. So, excuse me. I'm going to then take my arc tool, my 2-point arc, and I'm going to put an arc on the back side of my seat. And you'll see why that's going to be important later. Now remember, when we're making our arc, not to make it go all the way out to the edge. We want to have a little gap here. Okay, and then again, using our push-pull tool, we are then going to push that all the way to the bottom to cut that out. Okay, so there's our seat for our chair to start out with. Alright, now we are going to select this entire object and we are going to turn it into a group. Okay, so I right-click on it and I select Make Group. It's going to be very important. If you don't make it a group, you will encounter problems later. Now I'm going to rotate to the bottom part of this, and I am then going to create a leg for my chair. So again, I'm going to click on this endpoint here, and I'm going to come in and make a chair leg that is going to be 3 inches by 3 inches. Okay, so there's my chair leg. Before I do anything else, I'm going to double click on that center part of my chair leg, okay, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to make it a component, and I'm going to come in here, I'm going to say chair leg. Okay. Again, the reason why we're making our chair leg this way is because when we make a copy of this particular square and we move it out to the other 3 parts of our chair, when I go to manipulate this one leg, it's going to be able to do that on all of them at the same time. Okay. So now I've made my chair leg. I'm going to move this around here so it's a little easier to see. I'm going to double click on that chair leg so I get a bounding box around that square. Actually, hold on a second. Before we do that, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to select that component and we're going to end up moving it. Okay, now I'm going to move a copy of it. So again, get the move tool, hit the control key to add that plus sign, and you'll notice that I'm going to select it in the upper corner here because when I move a copy, I want to be able to snap it to this corner, like so. Okay, now I'm going to take my select tool, I'm going to then select my original chair leg. So I have this one selected, and I have then this one selected. Again, using the move tool, control, because we're now going to then make 2 copies, and we're going to move that to this back corner. So again, make sure that you are selecting the proper corner when you are making your copy so it's easy to snap to this. Okay, so now I have chair legs in all 4 corners of my chair seat. Now I can double click on this. We're going to get that bounding box, so we're editing this component now. We are then able to left click on the bottom of this leg and we're able to pull this down, and you'll notice that because we made it a component previously that all the legs are now the same length. And I'm just going to eyeball this again, no particular measurement, but I want it to be somewhat of a good length. Okay. Now at this point in time, we are going to create a lathe pattern, if you will, or a quasi lathe pattern for our object, and we're going to use the push-pull, or no, excuse me, the follow me tool to fancy this up. So in this case, what I would recommend doing is getting out a line tool and just coming in here and drawing a profile, making sure you don't come out to the edge of this original line. We want to just come right up to it, similar to how we did it with the arc tool up above. And again, I'm just playing around here. I'm just getting creative. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. I'm not looking for anything in particular in this for your assessment. I just want to see you be creative with it. Use the arc tool, right? We're going to come in here. We're going to make things a little fancy there. And you know what? Maybe instead of this, we'll have a little arc there and erase some things here and there. All right, for the sake of just time, I'm just going to say that's my profile. Again, you can create it however you want. It does not need to look like mine. All right, I'm going to orbit around to the bottom of this, and keeping in mind this pattern right here is the pattern I'm going to follow around. So the first thing I want to do is select my path, or pre-select my path. So I double click on the bottom of my chair leg, and I'm going to deselect just the surface. So the outer edges of the bottom of this chair leg is still selected. Come in here to my follow me tool, and then again the path I want to select is this one right here. I click that once, and why didn't it do that? Alright, let's try that again. Follow me. There we go. Okay, that's what should have happened. Okay, I'm going to select outside of that bounding box, and now we have some really ridiculously fancy chair legs for our advanced chair. Cool. Alright, so far so good. Next thing we're going to want to end up doing is we're going to create our back of our chair. So again, what we're going to end up doing is we are going to come in here with a circle tool, and I am just going to create a circle such as that big look. That looks about right. Okay. Again, no particular measurement on the circle. Just kind of make it look reasonable. I'm going to double click on it to select the surface and the bounding edges. Right click on it, and now I'm going to make this a component as well. And this is going to be the chair back. Okay. And you should see a bounding box on that as well. Alright. Now we're going to use the rotate tool, which is located under the move tool, rotate. And I'm going to find the midpoint of this particular line, and I want my protractor to be blue. So I left click here to establish that. Now I'm going to come out here and I'm going to find the center of this. Okay, so now I'm going to be rotating this, but I want to rotate a copy. So here's my starting point. I hit Control again to make a copy, and I'm going to end up being about right here. This is the ending point for my chair back. So I click a third time to set it down. Before I do anything else, we're going to create an internal array. So in this case, let's go 5, and an internal array is a /, which is the same keyboard button as your question mark. Enter. And that looks pretty good. I mean, it's evenly spaced. It's not too big of a gap and not too little. So I think we're going to go with that. You might find that your chair might be needing 6 or 4. Adjust accordingly as you see fit. Okay. Now I'm going to select my select tool. I'm going to double click on my chair back circle. And again, just like with my chair legs, I'm going to use the push-pull tool. And when I click on this, I should be able to raise up the back of my chair like so. Okay, so you can obviously see my chair is coming together really nice. All right, now here's the fun part. We need to make a top to our chair, and a lot of times the easiest way to do that is actually use our current existing geometry down here in order to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on my seat. I'm going to select on the back arc, select this edge, this back arc, and I'm going to use the offset tool. And I'm going to offset this arc just enough on the inside of that chair back, like so. Okay? Now I'm going to come in here with the line tool and go from this corner to this. Okay, hit escape. Go to this to this. Okay, so now I've just drawn a particular shape on my seat. So why do we do that? What are we gonna do with it? Anyways, I'm gonna double click on that shape to select it. So I double click on the surface. It selects the bounding edges of that, and now I'm gonna use my move tool, and I'm gonna move a copy of this shape up. So again, Control to add the plus sign, left click, and I'm going to make sure that I'm moving it in the blue axis like so. Okay. Oops. And I'm going to position that right underneath those pieces there. And because I'm still working within my group, it's not going to stick to any of those, the back of that chair. So now I can again come in here with my push-pull tool, click on it once, and I can raise up the back of my chair like so. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now obviously we got some clipping here, so I'll double click on this again, and I will push this out just a little bit like so, and I'm going to double click that side to make it equal on both sides. Now you'll notice that when I did that, it created these lines. I don't want those lines, so I'm going to use my eraser tool, and again holding shift while I erase is just going to end up hiding those lines. So shift left click hides those lines. Alright, and then while I have the eraser tool out, I am going to just go ahead and erase this geometry there that I drew on that. Okay. So far so good. We're going to do one more thing on the chair to kind of finish it up. So in this case, we're going to again draw kind of a routed edge, or excuse me, a pattern that we're going to router out, quote unquote. We're not actually using a router, but we're going to be using the tools on here to simulate the router. So again, there's no particular pattern that I'm going to be looking for in terms of grading things. But what you might want to do is just, again, get a little creative. There we go. I'm going to erase that. So now I have this design. And again, just like previously, I'm going to take my select tool, double click on the top surface here so it selects the bounding edges, deselect the surface so I just have the bounding edges. Getting into my Follow Me tool, I'm going to then select just this shape here. Oops, again it didn't work. So we'll just back up. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay. And that routed that piece off. Like so. And there we go. There is our advanced chair that has used all of the advanced tools and techniques that we've taught you guys over the last few episodes. So pretty cool stuff how we can actually make a piece of furniture in this and be able to do this. Now if you want to get really fancy with it, we can select everything, go to the paint bucket here, and we can actually select, let's see here, we're going to select wood, and we can select a wood coloring. Let's go with this one, and when I color it, guess what? I now have a wooden chair. Pretty sweet. Alright, don't forget to save this. So make sure you're signed in. You'll hit save. Just call it Advanced Chair with your first your first and last name. So Advanced Chair, first and last name. Let me see. I'll just get in here and all right. SketchUp, model name, Advanced Chair. If I know how to spell, Mr. Gretzky. Obviously, you put your name. Save. We'll come up here like so. We'll go ahead and hit download. Again, we'll go with 2017. We'll hit OK. And again, that's going to download, and then you'll be able to find that file. If you're using a Chromebook, it'll be in the bottom right-hand corner. You'll just hit Show in Folder, find that file, click and drag it into your Google Drive, and then you should be able to, from there, upload it to Google Classroom. So, pretty cool stuff. We are going to have some additional lessons after the advanced lesson, but that's just going to be more tools that we can potentially use. Not necessary to learn, but still kind of fun to have in your back pocket once you've mastered the advanced stuff. So I want to say, first and foremost, congratulations on getting through this and learning this project. The best thing you can do, honestly, is to go back and when you're bored, watch some of these videos again. You will always find something new to explore, or something that you forgot or you need to pick back up again. And you know what? On your free time, go into this thing and just make some stuff. Why not, right? It's a new skill that you have that you can always have with you for things outside of this classroom. All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you around, and have a good one.